Let's give you guys some more practice. So find the domain for this multivariable function. So press pause and have a go. Okay, so when you look at this, just notice that there are two blocks here. If this block breaks down, then the whole thing will break down. If this block breaks down, then the whole thing will break down. So in order for the function to work properly, you have to satisfy this block and this block. So let's have a look at this. When will this break down? Well, this will break down when this is less than 0. So we need to demand that y squared minus x squared, we need to demand that this is greater or equal to 0. So what does this mean? Well, add this block to both sides. Add x squared to both sides. That will then give you this. When you get to this stage here, well, let's square root both sides. When you square root both sides, there's going to be a positive version and the negative version. Square root this side, there's going to be a positive version and a negative version. So, well, when you get to this stage here, in your mind, picture this. This is like y equals x. Well, when you get to this stage, picture this in your mind. Hang on. Picture y equals x squared, y equals x, picture y equals negative x, picture this in your mind. Now you need, well, y squared bigger than x squared. You are really talking about this region here and this region here. So bear this in your mind. For this block here, the domain for this block would be this thing here. So just bear this in your mind, because later on we will need to take the intersection with the domain of this block. So now remember, bear this in your mind. We will come back to this later on. So now let's have a look at this block. This block, well, we need to demand that this is strictly greater than 0. So we need to make this demand, x squared plus y squared minus 1. We need to make this demand. We need the whole thing here to be strictly greater than 0. So strictly greater than 0. So now add 1 to both sides. So that will then give you this. And by now you should be able to recognize that this is a circle of radius 1. So we need the circle to be bigger than 1. So for this domain, we need the circle to be bigger than 1. Hang on. So this is our circle of radius 1. And remember, for this block, it was this thing here. It was this thing here. But remember, this thing here needs to be big. It would be on the outside of the circle because earlier we had this plus y squared greater than. So this thing here has to be bigger than 1. So we are talking on the outside of the circle. We are talking on the outside of the circle. And if you look at this thing here, we require this region here and this region here. So as it turns out, our domain would be this thing here. Hang on. It would be this thing here and this thing here. So that's our domain. So you notice this circle here is actually this circle here. That's our circle there. And remember, this is not in play. This is not in play. So our domain is just this region here and this region here. So let's put that down in writing. So our domain is xy on the 2D plane, such that x squared is bigger than y squared is bigger or equal to x squared. So what this bit is saying is this bit here. Hang on. Y equals x, y equals negative x. So this thing here is saying this region here and this region here, and then this is the intersection. Well, intersection with xy on the 2D plane, such that it is such that it's bigger than a circle of radius 1. So draw your circle of radius 1, and it has to be bigger than radius 1. So really, is the intersection of the two would be this region here and this region here. Okay, so this here is our domain. Okay.